So the term big data is very popular these days, and it's not quite clear what it means. And one reason why is that there's no set definition for what it is. That's probably a good thing, because to define something is to constrain it, but there is something real there. The term big data was coined about a decade ago to refer to a fact that the amount of information in society was growing by leaps and bounds, that there was more information than ever, and because digital information doubles about every 2 years, it grows at an exponential rate. And so by around 2004, 2005, there are places like biotechnology labs, astrophysics labs in the United States that were creating more information than they ever had before, and it outstripped the technical tools with which it was capable to process it. So analysts had to innovate at the layer of the software and of the hardware just simply to run their analyses. So they needed a term to describe the fact that they were doing something that they'd never done before, and so they reached for the term, and that was big data. Okay. Today the term is used to largely mean applying statistics and quantification to areas of life that never had a quantified or statistical bent before. It might be how we read a book, or it might be how a car can drive itself. But we find that when we add more data to a problem, we can do things that we never could before. So many people are wondering, well, where will big data go? How will we do things? How will it be different? You can think of it, for example, like healthcare. When you go into a hospital or see a doctor, he will do some tests, he will look at you, or she will, use a stethoscope on your chest and try to remember what he or she learned at medical school, and maybe after 20 years of practice, the experience that's come through. But it's really hard to do. It's complex. There's lots of cases and lots of drugs and lots of things to remember. At the same time, there's rare cases, things that are uncommon, and if they've never seen that before, they wouldn't know how to treat it, even though many doctors may see it once or twice in a lifetime. If we could somehow aggregate that information, we can learn from it. Why wouldn't a computer do that for us? Why wouldn't we turn to something similar to Google to help us navigate what an ailment might be and what a suitable diagnosis and treatment would be, in the same way we navigate the wealth of information through Google and a search engine? And likewise, if Amazon can uncannily identify what book we want to read next, why wouldn't we turn to it to find out what drug we should probably recommend for a patient? We are going to get there. That is the direction that society is going in. But for the moment, we're making decisions blind. We're not recording patient data, we're not storing it, we're not reanalyzing it, and we're not aggregating it. We will get there, but we haven't done it yet. So in Wallonia, there may be companies that feel like big data is not for them. They're wrong. Big data is sort of like saying science is not for people in Brussels, or the internet is not for people in Paris. It would be silly to make that claim. It's simply like saying literacy is not for people in Belgium, right? It's quite fundamental. We want, as a society, to make decisions based on information, on empirical fact. In the past, we collected a little bit of data with which to do that. Now we can collect vastly more amounts of data. It doesn't just mean that we can solve some of the problems that we're doing already today better and faster. It's that we can solve new problems altogether. We can pose different questions, and we can get different answers. So there is a fear that there is a risk that the data will take control, that the machines will somehow be the masters and humans its servants. Those fears are founded. It's not that they're ill-founded, that's not true. They are founded. If you think about where things are today, it seems a little bit silly. We're very lucky if we can get a cell phone signal in the rain, right? And computers crash, and our technology works, but it doesn't work that well. But remember that a computer in 1960 took up an entire office floor of an office building. And now a similar computer fits in the size of the palm of the hand. It's an iPhone. It's a supercomputer. It'd be many office floors worth of computers. So let's think about what the world might be in just simply 50 years, or even in just 35. So let's say 2050. Computers right now, for example, that would be like an iPhone, will be as small as perhaps a follicle of hair. Right? At that time, we will have so much processing power that it will do simply incredible things. Machines will be building machines. Most decisions will be done by machines rather than by human beings, in the same way that if you wanted to do a calculation of any kind, any sort of math, it's probably going to be done by a computer and not be done by a human being with a slide rule. Okay? At that time, there is a risk that, that the machines will take over because they're smarter, and we as human beings have to create the right safeguards in our technologies to make sure that, no, we are in control, we are the masters of this.